Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I wanted to come in for a second and talk to you guys about something I just read in the media that I really think is worth paying attention to because it's a great lesson on how to do business in the black community. And it's very sad news. It's sad news because it's the end of an iconic institution, but sometimes the end of something is the beginning of something better. It depends on what that something happens to be. So anyway, I want to say hello to everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. If you want to follow me there, you can also follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. If you're interested in black wealth, if you're interested in starting that family business, if you're interested in what's going on in the stock market, if you're interested in real estate, if you're interested in franchising, if you're interested in hearing from financial experts, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com and follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. And if you want to learn more, educate your entire family from the children on up, go to theblackbusinessschool.com. Theblackbusinessschool.com. You can get started for free. It's better than a university, and it's probably 1/1000th of the price. So let me tell you what I'm thinking about today. Ebony Magazine. Ebony Magazine is. It looks like Ebony Magazine is almost officially dead. I don't know if that means the brand will be dead. I don't know what that looks like. But I just saw an article today in Black Enterprise Magazine in which basically they're saying that Ebony is being forced into bankruptcy. Forced into bankruptcy, which pretty much means that your creditors don't feel that you are a person who can, or a company that can actually pay your debts, that you will not, that you're just not a good credit risk anymore. And they're basically saying, look, we're just going to smoke you out. We want to just pop on in and we just want to come in and get our money and take our assets and call on our loans because we don't trust you as an ongoing entity anymore. So here's, I'm going to read some of this article to you. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. Please hit the thumbs up button and share this video. It says Ebony Magazine, which has been in circulation for more than 50 years, is being forced into involuntary bankruptcy as lenders claim debts remain unpaid. According to the Grio, creditors of the publication are pushing for a Texas federal court to force the brand into Chapter 7 bankruptcy. A rare move, but one that creditors deem necessary. Multiple petitions say Ebony Media Holdings L.L.C is, quote, generally not paying its debts as they become due unless they are the subject of a bona fide dispute as a liability or amount. So basically, the creditors are just getting annoyed. They don't want to wait. And you think about it, I mean, right now you have the whole COVID situation going on. A lot of companies are going under in COVID, and the weakest links are going to get body slammed first. And so Ebony, and I'm going to go into a couple of reasons why I knew this was going to happen, why we predicted this years ago, because I've worked with Ebony before, and I just was stunned by how backward of an operation they were, just how ridiculously inept they had become. They're almost like, if you imagine the stereotype of the worst HBCU you can imagine, that's what Ebony had become. Ebony had just gotten that bad. Unlike Essence has evolved. Essence has a new massa that's kind of controlling things, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, you know what? Scratch that. I think a brother might have bought Essence after it was bought by a white person. I can't remember. But anyway, Essence is doing better, I think. Ebony is not, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I think that's kind of happening here in a second. So the three companies that are pushing for the bankruptcy are Houston-based Parkview Capital Credit. They claim that they're owed $11.9 million. David Abner Associates claim a debt of $9,400, and New York-based Plum Studio claims to be owed $2,300. Now, how they're in court over $2,300, I have no idea. That's like I know brothers that owe more than that in child support just for like 2 months. I don't know how a massive corporation like Ebony could be in court over $2,300, but hey, maybe somebody didn't open the mail that day when the bill came due. And so just not too long ago, they actually sold their iconic photo archive for $30 million. So a lot of these iconic black photos were sold away to the highest bidder, unfortunately. You would think a $30 million capital injection would keep them alive, but apparently that's not the case. So anyway, here's my thoughts on Ebony. I'm going to break it down real quick and just kind of lay out a quick summary of why I think Ebony's having this problem. The deal is that Ebony had become a dinosaur. Ebony Magazine, from what I've known, from what I've seen, had just turned into a dinosaur. I've written for Ebony before. I have friends that have worked at Ebony. And just for full disclosure, I think I might have got banned from Ebony because I wasn't on board with the whole Democrat Republican thing. I was telling black people that I wasn't going to vote, and people think that means you're telling black people not to vote, which I never tell black people what to do like that. I might tell you to take care of your kids and and invest your money, but I don't tell people not to vote. I don't tell them who to vote for. But apparently free-thinking black people is a threat to all things white supremacist. So effectively, by me simply saying that I'm not going to vote until I find a candidate that makes me happy, that apparently upset some people there. So a person from the inside came to me and said, Boyce, what did you do to piss off somebody at Ebony? And I said, what are you talking about? I don't even know many people over there. And she said, well, I was pretty much told that we should not publish any articles from Dr. Boyce Watkins, that anything from Dr. Boyce is not going to get published. And I'd already written the article for her. She actually asked me to write the article. I wrote it, and I didn't even think about it. I reached back later, a few months later, said, hey, did you ever pay me for that article? And she said, oh, well, this is what happened. So I don't know what went down. And that part, I can even put that to the side. That, I don't blame you for disliking me. I have a lot of people that get mad at me because I'm going to tell my truth, and I'm smart enough to know that my truth has some validity to it. So if you don't like what I say, then screw you. But here's the deal with Ebony, and this is something I would have said regardless of what the relationship was. You need to evolve in order to survive. Those who stop growing, you start dying. Ebony Magazine was was lit. They were forward thinking. They were the hottest thing smoking in 1964. They were amazing in 1958. They were extraordinary perhaps in 1977. Maybe they were okay and decent in 1988. But when you get to the digital age and you can't evolve, then your lack of ability to evolve means that you're probably going to die. So when I saw, and I would talk to people that I knew who were familiar with the operations at Ebony, when I would engage with them myself, and I had my weird experience with Ebony, I remember thinking, there's no way these people are going to make it. They're not going to survive. They're not, from what I'm gathering, they're not open to innovative ideas. They're not bringing in young people who can tell them how the world works. Sometimes making all that money as they did in the 1970s and 80s, you got to go back and remember, big white companies used to pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get featured in their magazine on the front page or whatever. Well, those days died when this thing called the internet came along, and you had to evolve quickly if you were a print magazine publication. That whole industry got its butt kicked. So those who could not innovate were not going to survive into the 21st century. Ebony Magazine was not innovative. Ebony Magazine was holding on to these old school traditions. Ebony Magazine was, in my opinion, from my impression, they were resting on their laurels. From what I saw, Ebony Magazine, because they were the shit in 1985, they thought they were the shit in 2005. And unfortunately, in 2005, 2010, nobody gave a shit if you used to be the shit. Like, you had to still be the shit. You can't just say I used to be the shit, because people are not going to pay attention to that. So I think Ebony is a great lesson in terms of sort of showing that, look, there's a reason why efficiency wins. In what we call, we economists refer to it as an efficient market, efficient capital markets. In efficient markets, it's survival of the fittest. Ebony was not the fittest. There are better publications online right now that didn't exist 5 years ago than Ebony could ever be. And what's really fascinating to me is that, one of the creditors is saying Ebony owes us $11.9 million. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. I know black businesses that can't go borrow $11,000. Good quality businesses can't get $11,000. Ebony gets $11.9 million bucks. Who was the idiot that sank $11 million into Ebony Magazine in the first place? If they'd called me on the phone when they made the loan and said, Dr. Boyce, do you think Ebony is worth loaning $11 million to? I'd have said, man, I could give you 20 businesses where you could spread that money out and get a 50% ROI every year on your investment. Are you serious right now? Are you really that stupid that you're going to give $11 million to a dinosaur, right? It doesn't make any sense. And think about this too. Ebony sold their photo collection for $30 million. So last time I checked, I get my master's in math, so I think I can add. 11 plus 30 is 41. So $41 million in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years alone sank into this company, not to mention all the other money that they probably got from different places, and you still can't survive? Well, you got to be stupid to not be able to survive with that kind of support, that kind of financing. If you can't scale down and operate on $41 million, then I'm sorry. There are other black businesses. Let's just keep it 100. There are other black businesses, other black publications out here that would do far more efficient things with that money. And honestly, as much as it saddens me to see an iconic institution like Ebony Magazine go into the dirt, sometimes it's better to bury the old and come back with the new. So, RIP to Ebony Magazine. Maybe the brand will reemerge in some other form. It's a great brand. I would buy the freaking brand. Like, you sell the brand to me. Just don't be selling me for some crazy amount of money. But if they sold me that brand, I could make that sucker fly in a couple of months, right? Because people that are, and this is a shout out to the hustlers out here. Those of you who got those small black owned businesses and you're doing the damn thing. People that are hanging out with Lamar Tyler's group and stuff like that. These black businesses that are making $2, $3, $4 million a year and started with nickels in the bank. Shout out to you, because you're the leaders, you're the innovators of the future. And once those businesses start getting the funding that they deserve, that's when you're going to start seeing these companies grow into multi-billion-dollar corporations, big intergenerational institutions that will truly move the black community forward. Because as I said before, and I would have said the same damn thing 12 years ago, Ebony Magazine had become a dinosaur and a joke. And a lot of that is because sometimes older people don't want to let go power to younger people. Sometimes older people want to spend so much time holding on to the past that they cannot embrace the future. Sometimes older people don't want to let younger people in the door, so by realizing that their ideas are a better fit for the current time period you're in than your ideas are. You cannot do 1988 business in the year 2020. It just does not work. It's no different from when I was at Syracuse. I remember when I was at Syracuse University and I was doing stuff in the media. I was going out, when I was on the faculty there, I was going out and I was on CNN and stuff every other day back then. I don't do CNN anymore because I don't like the direction they're going. They're a little bit too biased right now for me. But back then I used to do a lot of CNN and the TV networks and all that. So what would happen is the students from the journalism school at Syracuse used to come see me because they're like, who's this black professor at our university who's on TV all the time? We don't have any black professors over here in the media school that we can really relate to. So we're going to go find this guy. So they would come over and talk to me and they would say, hey, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be in the media. I want to make the media work for me. And I would say, well, what do they have you doing over there in the media school that you're going to be $200,000 in debt by the time you finish? I hope that they're giving you something good. And do you know what was going on? The shit that they were learning over in the media school was stuff that was being taught to them by a professor who worked in the newsroom at CBS in 1982. And I was like, you live in the digital age and you're black. You ain't white. No, so you got a few things working against you. You ain't white and it's not in 1982 anymore. And you don't have an endless supply of money. So you're going to have to be creative. And so the best advantage I had going into media was that I did not think about media as a journalist. I had no preconceived notions that were constraining me in terms of how to figure out how to make it work. I saw it as a business person. I saw it as a technology guy, as an innovative person. So I was like, okay, you know what? I know what I could probably do if I had $10 million to work with, but what do I do if I've only got $100? Or how do I make this work if I've got $1,500? I got on the Wendy Williams show back when Wendy had the #1 radio show in New York. How did I get on the Wendy Williams show when I only had maybe $100 to let people know what I was doing? It requires innovation. It requires creativity. And so what I think is one of the biggest dangers to anybody that's either doing business or getting an education in the 21st century is to learn from people who don't know how to be innovative. Your capacity to evolve is probably the #1 factor that you will have as a business owner in this century. If you cannot evolve, you will die. The big companies, the big tech companies, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Amazons, the reason that they do so well, the reason Jeff Bezos makes more money in a day than most people make in 100 lifetimes is because Jeff Bezos is a businessman. He is high on technology. His company is consistently innovative. They're consistently looking for the next big thing. They're consistently seeking to evolve. They're consistently making sure that Amazon is not the same company now that it was 5 years ago. Whereas Ebony looked the same to me in the year 2010 that they looked in 1992. And that told me right there, y'all ain't gonna survive. Y'all gonna get eaten up like little baby fish. So if you don't innovate, you will die. Ebony Magazine did not innovate. Therefore, Ebony Magazine is effectively dead. And I'm sorry. As long as you're not willing to innovate, as long as you have management that isn't willing to consider fresh new ideas, as long as you have management that's not willing to come out of the comfort zone they established when they were the bougie Negroes back in the 1970s, then I say good riddance. God bless you. You don't deserve to survive. That's it, guys. I know that sounded harsh, but that's that. Y'all know me. I got to give you the real. I got to give you the truth. So I'm out of here, guys. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, some of you are asking about shirts like this. We actually have these shirts. If you go to wokeblacktees.com, that's wokeblacktees.com. Why do we say because we're black? Well, because I believe, and I was raised on the idea that because we're black, we have to be different. Because we're black, we have to work harder. Because we're black, we have to be more creative. Because we're black, we are better, we are stronger, we're more capable. Because we're black, we have to stick together. So that's why Alicia and I wear the shirt that says because we're black. So if you agree with that philosophy, feel free to grab one at wokeblacktees.com. That's wokeblacktees.com. Last but not least, we have the Black Stock Market Weekend happening the weekend of August 7th. So if you want to dig in and learn an 11-step methodology I put together in the Black Business School on how to pick stocks for your portfolio, join us. Go to blackstockmarketweekend.com. That's blackstockmarketweekend.com. You guys know I'm a finance PhD, so I love talking about investing and stock market stuff and all that good stuff. So take care, guys. Have a good day. I'm going to go lay down. I'll see you soon. Peace.